Diary of a 59th Engineer Soldier, building, fighting, and surviving in the Vietnam War. November 2nd, 1967. I landed in Vietnam today, part of the 59th Engineer Company. The heat hit me first, a wet, suffocating wall that clung to my skin and made every breath feel like an effort. Then came the smell. Earth, sweat, diesel, and something I can't quite name. It's acrid and metallic, like burned gunpowder mixed with decay. It's a smell that sticks to you, gets into your clothes and skin, something I already know I'll never forget. I told myself I was ready for this, had rehearsed in my head what it would be like. But stepping onto this foreign soil, it felt like the air itself was heavier, pressing down on me, making it hard to think, hard to breathe. I felt a knot in my stomach I couldn't untangle, an unease I couldn't shake. I'd told my mom before I left, "Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'm not in combat. I'm an engineer. We're just here to build roads, bridges, airstrips." But already I can tell that's a lie. The first thing I saw wasn't the equipment or the supply lines, but the bodies. They were being unloaded from a Huey, wrapped in tarps, lifeless and still. There were 4 of them, but one tarp was partially undone, and I caught a glimpse of a hand, a young man's hand, pale and motionless, the fingers curled like they were still holding on to something. Someone said they were Marines, ambushed on the road we're supposed to finish this week. I couldn't take my eyes off those tarps as they were carried off the chopper. My mind started racing. How long had they been alive before they were shot? Did they know it was coming? Were they scared? Did they cry out for someone, for their mother, for their brothers in arms? I can't stop thinking about their families. Somewhere back home, there are people who don't yet know their lives have just been torn apart. Whose wife will crumple to the floor when that officer in dress blues shows up at her door? Whose mom will clutch the telegram screaming her son's name as if shouting it loud enough could bring him back? I haven't even started working, haven't picked up a tool or mapped out a road, and I'm already counting the days until I can go home. I know I should feel focused, maybe even proud to be here, but all I feel is a deep, gnawing dread. They didn't tell us it would be like this. Not in the training videos, not in the briefings. They didn't say how the air would taste of death, how the sight of those tarps would burn itself into my memory. As the day goes on, I try to push it out of my mind, but I can't. I look at the jungle beyond the perimeter, dense and alive with sounds I don't recognize, and I think about the enemy hiding out there. They don't look like soldiers, we've been told. They blend in, they disappear into the trees, but they're always watching. And us? We're supposed to carve order out of this chaos, to build roads that won't just carry supplies, but will expose us to sniper fire, ambushes, and mines. Mines that could rip through steel, bone, and flesh in an instant. They told us engineers aren't here to fight, but out here, every shovel might as well be a weapon. Every blueprint we follow feels like a gamble. Every step we take a risk. I'm writing this in the dim light of our barracks, the sound of helicopters still buzzing in the distance, and I feel like I'm holding my breath, waiting for something to happen. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know one thing. This place doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't care if you're scared or strong or somewhere in between. It just takes and takes. November 6th, 1967. We're clearing jungle for a new road near Pleiku. The work is relentless, back-breaking, and every step feels like a dance with death. The air is thick with heat, humidity, and tension, as though the jungle itself is holding its breath. Every swing of the machete, every push of the bulldozer, feels like defying a silent, unseen predator. The Viet Cong are out there. We know it. You can feel their presence in the oppressive silence that follows every loud noise we make. Sometimes, if you're unlucky, you catch the glint of a rifle barrel through the dense greenery. It's a fleeting, haunting moment, because you know the shot will come, but not when or where. This morning, the grader was pushing through a particularly muddy patch when it happened. A mine, buried deep beneath the muck, detonated with a deafening roar. The explosion tore through the machine as if it were made of tin, shredding steel and spraying shrapnel in every direction. The blast wave hit me like a punch to the chest, even from 50 feet away. Sergeant Baker, who had been directing the grader, was caught in the edge of the explosion. I saw him thrown through the air like a rag doll, landing in a crumpled heap several yards away. His leg was twisted at an angle that legs aren't supposed to go, the bone poking through the fabric of his fatigues. Blood poured from the wound, mixing with the mud to form a dark, gruesome pool around him. He screamed once, a guttural animal sound, and then fell silent. The silence was somehow worse. We scrambled to call in a medevac, but the radio crackled back with the worst news. The chopper wouldn't come until we secured the area. Secured the area? How were we supposed to do that when the ground itself was a death trap? We didn't know how many more mines were out there, waiting for another step, another machine, another life. But we had no choice. We moved like ghosts, every footfall hesitant, every breath shallow, scanning the ground for anything that looked suspicious. By the time the medevac finally arrived, it had been hours. Hours of watching Baker's life bleed out into the mud, his skin growing pale and clammy. He drifted in and out of consciousness, mumbling something about home, about his wife, about the fishing trips he'd never take again. When the chopper lifted off, I wanted to feel relief, but all I felt was emptiness. The truth is, I don't think he's going to make it. The medics were grim when they loaded him up, their eyes avoiding ours. They didn't need to say it. We all knew. After the explosion, I couldn't stop shaking. My hands felt foreign, like they belonged to someone else, someone far away from this cursed place. The jungle seemed darker, more menacing, as if it had been awakened by the blast and was now watching, waiting. I keep looking down at the ground beneath my boots, wondering what's hiding under the surface. Is it another mine? Will it be me next? The thought grips my chest like a vice, and I can't shake it. Tonight, I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see the explosion, hear the sound of Baker's body hitting the ground, feel the heat of the blast against my skin. I think about Baker's wife, about the letter she'll get, the knock on the door that will shatter her world. And I think about my own family, my mother, who writes me every week, pretending she's not terrified, and my kid brother, who thinks I'm some kind of hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy trying to survive another day, trying not to think about how easily this jungle could swallow me whole. November 9th, 1967. Last night, the mortars came. The first one hit just after midnight, lighting up the sky and shaking the ground like an earthquake. Then came the screaming, the shouting, the scrambling for cover. I grabbed my rifle, even though I knew it wouldn't do much against the shells raining down on us. When it was over, the camp was in ruins. The fuel dump was a fireball, and 3 of our guys were dead. Private Daniels, he was only 20. I found his helmet near the perimeter, blood dripping through the hole where the shrapnel hit. He used to talk about home all the time, about his little sister, and how she'd send him drawings in the mail. I wonder if she'll ever understand what happened to him out here. I feel so damn angry, but there's nowhere to put it. Not at the Viet Cong. They're just as scared and desperate as we are. Not at the officers. They're just following orders. Maybe at myself, for signing up for this in the first place. November 13th, 1967. The road to Pleiku is almost done. It's supposed to be a victory, a milestone in this endless, grinding war. The officers tell us it's an achievement that will help turn the tide, a critical supply line carved through the jungle. But all I feel is dread, a weight in my chest that grows heavier with each step. The closer we get to finishing, the more it feels like the jungle is fighting back, as if it knows we don't belong here. We've been hit twice in the last week. The first time, it was snipers. The shots came out of nowhere, sharp cracks that echoed through the trees, followed by shouts and chaos. I hit the dirt like they taught us, my heart pounding so loud I thought it might burst. The second time, it was a booby trap rigged to a tree, a crude yet devastating bomb designed to maim and kill indiscriminately. Johnson was in front of me when it went off. He was carrying his shovel, muttering something about getting back to base for a hot meal. Then there was a deafening blast, a spray of dirt and shrapnel, and Johnson was gone. He didn't even scream. His body just crumpled, broken and lifeless, as if the life had been ripped from him in an instant. I can still see him lying there in the dirt, his eyes wide open but empty. The explosion had torn through his chest, and there was nothing we could do. No last words, no goodbyes, just silence. The medics came, wrapped what was left of him in a poncho, and carried him off. Another name to add to the growing list of the dead. The worst part is we keep going. We have to. There's no time to mourn, no space to grieve. The orders are clear. Clear the wreckage, fill the holes, lay the gravel, and keep moving forward. So that's what we do. We dig, we sweat, and we bleed, pretending that the road is the only thing that matters. But every step feels heavier, every swing of the pickaxe slower, as if the jungle itself is weighing us down, whispering that we'll never make it out alive. I can't get the sound of Johnson's body hitting the ground out of my head. It's a dull, sickening thud, the kind of sound that sticks to your soul and refuses to let go. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. I see the dirt rising in a plume, his lifeless body collapsing, and the jungle closing in around him. It's like the jungle swallowed him whole, just like it's trying to swallow all of us. This place doesn't just kill you, it erases you. One moment, you're laughing with a buddy, sharing a cigarette and talking about home. The next, you're gone. Just another body in the dirt, another casualty in a war that seems to have no end. I wonder what Johnson's family will be told. Will they hear about the road to Pleiku, the victory we're building, or will they just get a folded flag and a letter saying he died serving his country? Will they know about the booby trap, the way his body fell, the way we had to keep going like nothing happened? I hate this place. I hate the jungle, with its relentless heat and its suffocating silence. I hate the war, the senseless violence, the way it turns men into tools, into numbers, into memories. And more than anything, I hate that I can't stop. I can't break down. I can't let myself feel it, because if I do, I might not be able to get back up. The road to Pleiku is almost done, but at what cost? Every inch of gravel feels like it's been paid for with blood, sweat, and lives. And when it's finished, when we finally reach the end, will it even matter? Will anyone back home understand what it took to build this road, or will it just be another line on a map, another footnote in a history book that skips over the pain and the loss? I don't know how much more of this I can take, but I have to keep going. For Johnson, for the others we've lost, for the slim chance that maybe, just maybe, this road will mean something in the end. But right now, all I can see is the jungle, endless and unforgiving, waiting to claim the next one of us. November 20th, 1967. The airstrip is finally operational. Chinooks and Hueys are landing, bringing supplies and reinforcements, but also more bodies to carry back home. The pilots look as tired as we feel. One of them told me they've been flying almost non-stop, ferrying wounded from the front lines. He said he's seen things that would make God himself cry. At night, I dream of home. I see my mum's face, my dad's hands rough from years of work. I hear my sister laughing. Then I wake up to the sound of artillery, and it feels like the world is ending all over again. November 27th, 1967. We're working on a bridge near Kon Tum now, a Bailey bridge meant to connect the supply line and keep our convoys moving. Every day here feels like walking a tightrope stretched over hell. The bridge is supposed to be temporary, but every bolt we tighten feels permanent. like we're sealing our fate. It's dangerous work. Perched over the river, exposed to the jungle on either side, we're sitting ducks. Every noise from the tree line feels like the start of an ambush, every shadow a potential enemy. The river itself is a beast. Swollen from the relentless rains, it roars below us, fast and unforgiving. If you slip, there's no saving you. The current would drag you under, smash you against the rocks, and claim you as another casualty of this place. We're tethered to ropes, but it doesn't feel like enough. The water looks alive, almost hungry, waiting for one of us to make a mistake. This morning, as we worked to secure the final supports, someone shouted. At first, I thought it was an ambush, but it wasn't gunfire. It was a body. A dead Viet Cong fighter had been swept downriver, tangled in debris and branches. He drifted towards us, spinning slowly in the current until he got caught near the bank. He couldn't have been more than 17, just a boy. His face was pale, bloated from the water, his eyes wide open but empty, staring at nothing. One of the guys muttered something about leaving him there. "Not our problem," he said, his voice hard, detached. Maybe he was right. Maybe the jungle should have him. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't just let him float there, another piece of wreckage in this endless war. I climbed down to the edge of the water, the mud sucking at my boots, and pulled him to shore. His body was heavier than I expected, waterlogged and limp. The smell hit me first. Rot and earth, death mingling with the jungle air. I laid him on the ground and covered him with a tarp, hiding his face from the sun, from the world. Even enemies deserve dignity, even here. I can't stop thinking about him. Was he scared? Did he know he was going to die when the river took him? Did he think about his home, his family? Maybe he had a mother waiting for him, praying for a son who will never come back. Maybe he had dreams, hopes, a future that the war stole from him. I tried to tell myself he was the enemy, that he would have killed me without hesitation if he had the chance. But it doesn't matter. He was just a boy, caught in something so much bigger than him, just like the rest of us. The guys didn't say much after I pulled him out. A few of them looked at me like I was crazy, but no one argued. Maybe they understood, or maybe they just didn't care. Either way, the work went on. The bridge had to be finished, the supply line had to be connected, and the war didn't pause for a dead boy in the river. Tonight, I keep seeing his face when I close my eyes. I can't shake it. The way his eyes stared into nothing. The way the jungle seemed to claim him, even as I tried to pull him back. I wonder if someone will do the same for me when my time comes, or if I'll just become another body in the mud, forgotten by everyone except the jungle. Reflection. They tell us we're here to build, but the truth is, we're here to survive. The jungle doesn't care about roads or airstrips or bridges. It doesn't care about the flags we wear or the promises we make. It just takes and takes, one life at a time. The 59th Engineer Company isn't just laying foundations, we're burying them too. Every day, we lose a piece of ourselves to this place. Every day, we wonder if we'll make it out alive. And every day, we keep going, because what else can we do? I don't know if we'll ever finish the work we came here to do. I don't even know if it'll matter in the end. But I know this. The cost of this war isn't measured in miles of road or tons of gravel. It's measured in blood, in tears, in the lives we'll never get back.